will people look back at the Iamaleava brothers' actions as the straw that broke the camel's back? Is this the first school of many that are going to say, hold on, kid, we gave you, daddy, mommy, cousin, uncle, aunt, representative, agent, whomever, all this green, and you took off without fulfilling any obligation to the school. We want our money back. I don't blame these schools at all. In the brothers' case, Madden, he hadn't done. All he's done is show up on campus for a few months, collect checks, get rich. $200,000 ain't no joke, people. He got rich, and then he skedaddled with his brother. Well, more schools do this. You know, players are coming and going. Players are transferring. Players are saying, yes, I'm going here, staying for a minute, and then going somewhere else. We've seen that with quarterbacks. We actually saw a trade with that Nico kid and an Aguilar kid. UCLA, Tennessee, let's swap quarterbacks. It reminds me of a 70s Reds, Dakich and Peterson swapping wives. But I digress. I do. Let's digress into what the schools are doing. And I'm going to give you a story because I always have a story. Nico's brother, the bad Iamaleava. The not as good Iamaleava, Madden Iamaleava, was playing at Arkansas. In Arkansas, well, I'll take you through the story. Paid him $200,000 to come be a quarterback at Arkansas. Is he going to be a starter? Probably not for $200,000, but the athletic director, Hunter Yurachek, released a statement vowing to help recoup that $200,000. He called it, quote, wasted NIL money just hours after Nico's brother, Madden Iamaleava, entered the transfer portal after collecting NIL checks during his 4-month stay in Fayetteville. I have a story about this. I was actually a trendsetter on this in 2005. Let's continue. I've spoken. This is the athletic director at Arkansas. I love this. I've spoken with the leadership team at Arkansas Edge. That's their collective. That's where the money comes. And express my support in their pursuit to enforce their rights under any agreement violated by our student athletes moving forward. We appreciate Edge's investments in our student athlete and acknowledge the enforcement of these agreements is vital in our new world of college athletics. We look forward to continued dialogue with all parties resolving this matter. Well, here's what he's saying. He's got his collective. They paid Madden $200,000. Madden never played it down. Madden took off, collected the $200K, and skedaddled. Now he's with his brother at UCLA, and they're pissed, and they're right. They have every right to be pissed. Now, contracts, who knows what's signed, who knows what's not signed. Let's continue. While contracts that are agreed upon between a collective and an athlete do include buyout language, a majority of these deals have not been enforced when a player decides to leave for another school. Why? I'll tell you why. Because you don't want to get the reputation as a school as not kissing the ass of every single player. That's why. I'm so glad Arkansas is doing this. I do. So what happens is that if a player agrees to a 6-figure deal or higher with the school and then leaves just 5 months later, after that player has already collected numerous NIL checks. Man, this would piss you off. I got a story. I do. I've got a story. The new Arkansas NIL collective is demanding roughly $200,000 back from Madden. All right? Years from now, will people look back at the Iamaleava brothers' actions as the straw that broke the camel's back? Interesting stuff. I think they will. And be considered the defining moment that sparked change in college athletics with regards to, and I'm not reading this great, the current regulations and structures behind NIL payments. What I'm saying is this the first school of many that are going to say, hold on, kid, we gave you, daddy, mommy, cousin, uncle, aunt, representative, agent, whomever, all this green, and you took off without fulfilling any obligation to the school. We want our money back. Now, I don't know the legal language, but I did this in 2005. Ron Lewis was going to be the leading scorer in the history of Bowling Green. I had to have 5 fundraisers. 5. Think about that as the basketball coach. I got 2 in season, 3 off season to raise money for summer school for my players, meaning they got their summer school paid. They got their housing paid. They got their meals paid. All legal within the scholarship limits. But my predecessor, Jim Larinaga, didn't do that. I saw the value of it. My choice. I raised the money. Player named Ron Lewis. Boom. He's there in the summer. He's taking our money for classes. He's taking our money for room, board, and rent. He's taking our money for everything. Leaves, goes home to Columbus, Ohio. August 9th, phone call. Coach, Ron, hey, I'm transferring. You're what? I'm transferring. Long story short, he ends up at Ohio State. Long story short, in 07, he ends up being the NCAA tournament's leading scorer. Ohio State went to the Final Four, eventually losing to Florida. I told him, his mother, and his brother, I want my money back. I want my damn money back. I'm not releasing you. Back then, we had to sign a contract. I'm not releasing you until I get my money back. Mom threatened to sue. Fat-ass doughboy brother said he was going to whoop my ass. I said, come whoop my ass. Come sue me. I don't care. I want my money back. I was at Cedar Point going on a ride with my son, listening to a voice message. Oh, we'll whip your ass. That guy couldn't whip cream. And then his mother was going to sue. I said, hey, I want my money back. I went to Boosters. This is the exact same thing. I went to Boosters to get that money. I want my money back. My chicken blank athletic director caved a bit, and we got either half or 3/4. I can't remember, but you get the point. I don't blame these schools at all. I pay you $2 million. I pay you $2 million to not play this Nico guy. I go fight the NCAA so you can play. And then you play and I give you another $2 million more and you skedaddle. I have to go back to those boosters and get more money for the next guy. I've got to explain where their money went. And in Arkansas's case, at least Tennessee got something out of it. You know, they made the college football playoff with Nico. In the brother's case, Madden, he hadn't done shit. All he's done is show up on campus for a few months, collect checks, get rich. $200,000 ain't no joke, people. He got rich, and then he skedaddled with his brother. That's robbery. You know, Shaq was talking about Ben Simmons should be arrested for robbery based on his contracts and his production. This is real robbery. This is, I got no regard. I'm taking your money. So here's what I hope happens. I hope Arkansas, when this goes to trial, which it will, because I got to believe the folks that are running the collective at Arkansas are serious businessmen with serious lawyers and serious intentions. And I got to believe that Nico's people are saying, we ain't giving that money back. That money's been spent. I got a watch. I got a car. I got whatever. No, it's going to be fascinating. So the question then becomes, will more schools do this? The question then also becomes, because we kiss the ass of players like it's our job, and it is, the question further becomes, will Arkansas be branded as a school players don't want to go to because they actually enforce contracts? That's the question. That's the biggest fear of all of these schools. We want to be seen as a player-run program, as a player-run athletic department, even though every athletic director, every coach, every assistant athletic director goes, bullshit, these players are idiots, they ain't running nothing. But we got to let them think they're running something. So will Arkansas, by making this public statement by the athletic director, become branded as a place free agents, let's call it what it is, don't want to go to? That's the risk. So then the other side is, will they get their money? Schools will not care about being branded if they can get that $4 million back that they paid Joey Bag of Donuts to be their quarterback and he skedaddled. You know what's interesting? Okay, so Nico leaves and goes to UCLA. Joey Aguilar leaves UCLA and goes to Tennessee. Question: What if Joey Aguilar, who left UCLA, got paid at UCLA? Now, this gets confusing. He was a transfer from Appalachian State. Goes to App State. Next thing you know, he ends up at UCLA. He didn't go to UCLA for room, board, books, fees, and tuition. He got paid something. So does UCLA see this and go, hold the phone. We want our money back. They won't have the balls to do it. UCLA seems like unserious people when it comes to their athletic department. Not Mick Cronin. Certainly the football coach did. See his media day address. But the entire thing seems chicken blank. I love you, Arkansas, for standing up. You got to stand up. Standing up makes this situation better. Standing up protects what I've been saying. You got to protect the schools. You got to protect the sport. That's what Arkansas is doing. And I'm down to clown. I am. I'm down with it. I think it's absolutely freaking great, and I hope more schools do it. I do. Angry A-Rod. No, not steroid-ridden lying. No, the other A-Rod. The other A-Rod. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers apparently mad. His buddy, Devontae Adams, says A-Rod's mad. A-Rod be mad. All right, A-Rod. All right. No, not Alex Rodriguez. He's revealed that the quarterback is absolutely pissed off with the New York Jets organization and the manner with which they cut ties with him. Remember, he was on McAfee saying, flies all the way out there, 2-minute meeting, we don't want you, goodbye, adios. All right. Well, Adams, Devontae, his buddy, revealed he didn't think an NFL franchise had the balls to deal with Rodgers in that manner. See, this is exactly what I'm talking to you about. You get angry or you piss off one player, and now all these other players are talking. All these other players have opinions on the organization, and good for them. Players should protect players, but you know what? Organizations should protect organizations, and leagues should protect their own damn league. We golfed together on a Wednesday in Vegas, Shadow Creek. Rodgers told me he was going to meet with the Jets on Thursday, then come back with play again Friday. And he was in such a bad mood after the meeting that he hit me up and was like, I'm not coming back, bro. This was horrible. They just disrespected me completely. Time out, Rodgers. Shut up. What did you do to them? What did you do to them when you said, nah, yo, I'm going to Egypt? Yes, I know you're paying me a ton of money, but I'm going to go to Egypt as opposed to go to OTAs. You disrespected everybody in that building, from the owner down to the trainer, down to the equipment guy, if you want to consider that down. I actually consider it up. I love equipment guys and trainers, so I would put them above owners, but I digress. You get my point. So you're sitting there disrespecting the shit out of a fan base, a coaching staff, ownership, other players, and now because they said they don't want your sorry ass, what were they supposed to do, Aaron Rodgers? Were they supposed to, I don't know, have a parade to tell your sorry ass you're not coming back? Were they supposed to put rose petals along the road, let you in, dine you, wine you, dine, wine, whatever, and then not take you? You disrespected the shit out of them. And you know what? In the world that I live in, that most people live in, what goes around comes around. Yeah, it does. I mean, you can be glad, mad, angry, or sad, but I'm A-Rod. I'm a quarterback. No, you're not. No, you're a guy that went to New York and, typical of people in every walk of life, thought too highly of yourself, thought too highly of your position, and got humbled, shown the door, and got the boot. And now you're pissy about it. Did you not disrespect them? Of course you did, you fraud. The second thing Devontae told me was, I think Aaron wanted someone to roll out the red carpet for him. See what I'm saying? This is what he's looking for. All right. Silver said on the Scoop City podcast, I'm not sure if he would consider the Steelers doing that right now. I'm not positive how Aaron perceives that or how the Steelers perceive that, but the Vikings clearly aren't. That's from Amber. It felt to me like Aaron, based on what Devontae said, would love to be swept off his feet. Look, 4-time MVP, one of the greatest ever to spin it. I understand why Aaron would want to feel that level of intensity before he jumps in. Great. Good. But you know what I always say? I got to hear the other side. There's two sides to every story. I mean, honest to God. Look, if Rodgers went to New York and he acted like probably he did when he was first in the league, like probably he did when he was trying to make it, all in on team, all in on leadership, all in on practice, all in on weight work, all in on video, all in on meetings, all in on the whole thing, probably would have had a different ending. But when you come to an organization and you overinflate your importance and you use your stature to abuse and disrespect management, this is what you get, you whiny little bitch. I mean, let's be honest. That's what Aaron Rodgers is right now. He went to an organization, totally shit on him, and next thing you know, the organization said, hey, you got over on us. Good for you, man. You went to Europe. You went to Egypt. Did whatever the hell you want to do. Now it's our turn. Andrew Marchand does not believe that Rodgers, Andrew Marchand's a TV critic and the best out there, does not believe Rodgers will have many TV suitors if he opts to retire from playing. Despite the quarterbacks often being picked for these type of roles, obviously on TV, we see quarterbacks morph all the time, some good, some bad. Here's what Andrew Marchand said about the future of Aaron Rodgers on television.
If you look at a top 20 list, just Google the list of the top 20 quarterbacks of all time. Almost all of them have gone in the TV or have had the option to go in the TV. Now, will there be options for Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, I think so. Podcasts, whatever. There's a million places you can go. But in terms of a network, does any network really want to take a chance on Aaron Rodgers? I don't think so, and that's pretty amazing considering Super Bowl winner, all-time great. And I do not think he'll have a lot of suitors in terms of network television. And I'm sure Aaron Rodgers would say, I don't want them anyway.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, you got a problem. Here's why. People that work in TV, best advice I ever got, and this isn't really difficult for me. Yes, I'm patting myself on the back. But you got to work together as a team. And that includes everyone, the people above you, the people you perceive as below you, which in my case, there's nobody below me. So anyway, you got to understand that. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers has ever shown the ability to do that. You know, one time, this is one of my things with Calvin Sampson, the coach. When I went back to Indiana to work for him, I knew all the janitors' names. I knew everybody's name. People in the ticket office. Hey, man, how you doing? Sam's like, how you know their names? I go, I don't know. I play softball with that guy. Play softball against that guy. That guy and I have been friends for 100 years. We drink beers at Nick's. I mean, you imagine Aaron Rodgers doing that? No. Hey, look, I'm also not a 4-time MVP. You know, I'm a peon, but you got to work together with people. You got to work together with camera people, directors, producers. You got to work together in TV. It's not just showing up, watching a game, saying what you think, and then going home. I don't see Rodgers as being able to do that. I don't. Not the Rodgers that I see. Hey, I could be wrong. Smug, arrogant, doesn't work. I mean, ugly works, but smug, arrogant, it don't work. All right. Shay, day 3, day 4, day whatever of Shannon Sharpe, the Shay Shakedown. More details have emerged in the latest sexual saga. Yeah, sexual healing, baby. Don't make me dance. Anyway, involving ESPN Shannon Sharpe, as we navigate through the weeds, it's difficult to discern who is telling the truth and who is full of shit. Isn't it always this way? You know my stance. My stance never changes. It's based on my sister. 25-year domestic violence prosecutor, Bloomington, Indiana, Monroe County. Don't believe the girl, don't believe the guy. Believe the evidence. Always, always believe the evidence. That was her job. That's what she taught. And she taught my kids, both boy and girl, hey, girl, don't ever drink brown. Don't ever order a mixed drink with a dude. Couple reasons. They like to spike mixed drinks, and they think you're easy, and they're going to get you drunk quicker. A lot of other things, but I digress. Shay's being accused and being sued for $50 million for sexual assault, numerous sexual assaults against a young lady. All right. Now, this isn't 10, 15 years ago. This is like 2 months ago. We're talking about 3 months ago, January. So this is all recent. October of last year, January now, all this stuff is very, very recent. So before you say, well, why'd she finally come out? No. That's right now. Right now. All right. Here's Shannon Sharpe denying the accusations.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Buzbee, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Buzbee targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Buzbee want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, wait a second. There's a lot to unpack here. Well, apparently he offered her $10 million. I don't know. This is all crazy. Here's a newly surfaced phone conversation between allegedly Sharpe and his accuser.
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you do with the shit you did to me.
Okay, well...
So let me see if I understand this right. So Shannon Sharpe says that they are exploiting every one of the stereotypes of a black man. And yet in that audio right there, he is acting, or he is exploiting the stereotype. Big black man chokes little white girl. This doesn't seem like a great relationship, however this thing ends up. So Sharpe is obviously, by saying he's being exploited as a black man in his video, but that's what he's doing. That he's saying big black man. He's saying little white girl. Man, oh man, this is insane to me. This does not seem like a great relationship. Let's put it that way. Jane Doe, through her famed lawyer, Tony Buzbee, filed a lawsuit on Sunday in Nevada. She claimed in it she met the ex-Broncos player at a gym in Los Angeles in 2023 when she was just 20. She began a consensual relationship with him, though she's described it as a controlling and verbally abusive one. Now, in typical ESPN fashion, Shannon Sharpe's just going about his business. He's just on TV. And there's more audio as well. There's a lot of things going on here. Of course, his partner, Stephen A. Smith, had to chime in on this as well. Let's hear it.
Going on the offensive to defend himself, I completely understand where Shannon Sharpe is coming from. On the other hand, when his legal team issued out the press release on X yesterday, and they spoke about, they mentioned her name, and they revealed some of those explicit text messages, that was uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's a strategy that would work. One of the hardest things in the world for all of us to do is to just lay low and be quiet. And let our legal team do it. And we don't always know whether or not that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's hard. It is. And Shannon Sharpe is continually in this battle now. Lanny Davis, father of Seth, said, yeah, we're innocent. This is a shakedown, but we did offer $10 million. $10 million to keep someone quiet? Two things come to mind. I know it's not an admission of guilt. It's an admission that this $10 million is money well spent because if you remember, Shannon Sharpe is going to go get $100 million. It was announced earlier this week that he was potentially going to get $100 million for his podcast. So $10 million, obviously a small price to pay to go through all this. My question is this. I'm listening to all of this. I read the affidavit or whatever you call it in the court, and she talks about being choked. She talks about crying. I saw text messages that say, no means no, Shannon. I asked you to put a condom on and not put that, in my rear end. It's very graphic. That seems like rape to me. Why aren't the police involved in this? I don't know the answer to that. I honestly don't. But those are things I always try to think of as a father, a brother, a husband. These things happen. My first inclination isn't to get money. My first inclination is put this sumbitch in jail. That's my inclination. Now, maybe I'm dead wrong about it. I don't know. But that's not what's happening here. This is seemingly all about money, but the lady did not take $10 million. Man, this is ugly, and Bobby Barack has chronicled old Shay Shay's history with women. While ESPN discusses Shannon Sharpe's future, here's a rundown. Threatened to choke out a 19-year-old in public, allegedly threatened to kill her, allegedly refused to put a condom on during anal sex, allegedly raped her. She said no means no in a text message, allegedly sexually assaulted a separate woman, per a 2023 lawsuit, allegedly forced a third woman to have sex with him while at CBS, which led to his leave, forced security to separate him from starting a physical fight at a Laker game, accidentally recorded a live sex tape of a woman calling him daddy amid gay rumors in September. This dude's a mess. The ESPN I know, man, they were on the phone with me. Stephanie Drewley, vice president, one of them big offices up top. Dan, we see where you said you wouldn't go swimming in a pool with a woman that wasn't your wife. The women of ESPN are all upset. Well, the women of ESPN can be upset. And you know the rest of the story. One of your women of ESPN is screwing the Indy Star columnist, both married. Leave me alone with the women of ESPN. They're a mess. Maybe that's just the level of ESPN now. Maybe when I was there, I upheld the standards of ESPN. They got mad at me for that. Honest to God. I look at this and I'm like, yo. Now, here's the thing. This goes back. This is back when he was at CBS. This is years ago when he was at a Laker game. And ESPN hangs in there. You think they would hang in there if he was a white dude? Oh, no, Stephanie Drewley would be on the phone saying, hey, the women of ESPN. How are the women of ESPN handling this? How's all those women, Stephanie Drewley of ESPN, handling this list here? Oh, it's Shay Shay. And I was the nicest dude ever. Oh, man, I get a kick out of all of it. You know that I do. It's really funny to me. It's not funny for the woman's sake, though. It's sad for the woman. It is. She ran into the wrong guy at the wrong time. Now, you can defend Shannon Sharpe all you'd like, but what Bobby Barack put out there and is supported at least by the audio we hear. Can audio be digitally altered? Of course it can. People are very clever with what they can do now. So maybe it is. I don't know. All we can go by is what we hear. And I don't like, personally, standing in judgment of anybody. I really don't. But I don't mind calling out dirtbags when they're dirtbags. I don't. I never have, and I never will. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Last thing, ESPN. Tell us again. Give us your morals. Tell us again how great your place is. Sharpe will be out of there in about a month. I think anyway. Could be wrong. Oh, man, Shedeur Sanders, it's the most interesting thing tonight. Shedeur Sanders is by far the most interesting player. Tonight is the draft. Tonight, there's not a lot of, hey, man, got to have this guy. Abdul Carter, terrific. Travis Hunter, I assume, is going to end up as a really, really good player. I assume. But let's be honest. There really isn't that much intrigue here unless it's about your own team. Well, Shedeur Sanders is the most interesting. Listen to this. More trouble. They retired his jersey. What's wrong with that? Nothing. But reports on the incoming NFL teams aren't good. Aren't good. Here's an assistant coach. The worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. Now, I don't know if this thing is true or this is chopped up. Because if I'm going to say this is the worst interview that I've ever been in, I got to explain it before I go to this. I got to explain, why is this the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life? He's so entitled. And then immediately he takes unnecessary sacks. That's not in the interview. So I wonder if this is chopped up. Takes unnecessary sacks, never plays on time, horrible body language, blames teammates. Biggest thing is he's not that good. They buried the lead. They buried the lead here. Here's how it should go. All right, first off, if I'm being the assistant coach, he's not that good. I mean, let's just understand that. And then as we got to talking to him, it's the worst interview I've ever been involved in. I mean, the worst. It is. And frankly, he doesn't play on time. He's entitled. He blames team, all that stuff. But he buried the lead. Look, if Shedeur Sanders were as good as, say, I don't know, Andrew Luck, or even Trevor Lawrence coming out, nobody would care about all these other things. All right, here's some Twitter reaction. Oh, boy, that's an NFL assistant coach. The Twitter reaction is great. Can you put that up a little more? Announce the name. There you go. Who's the guy? You're never going to get that. It's easy to say this when there's no name behind who's saying it. That's right. All right, I can't stand the dude or his family, but this is a bit much. That's from Jack. I do like the dude and his family, and I want him to come to the Colts. I do. An anonymous negative quote about college football's most accurate passing quarterback in 2024 sounds like an attempt to dissuade others from drafting Sanders so they can draft him, especially when they say he's not that good, but fail to mention Sanders' horrific offensive line. Same coach probably loved Johnny Manziel. I saw that comparison the other day. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Here's some other reaction. This is Twitter reaction number 2. Mid Geno Smith Max comparison. That means he's just okay. But he had his college jersey retired, so he must be good. Well, that's stupid. I mean, guys have always been really good in college and not played well in the pros. That's been going on since there's been the pros. So what he's saying is the Browns are drafting him. Maybe. I have a hunch this is an accurate assessment, and he's not very good. We're going to find out who thinks what. We're going to find out who thinks what very quickly in the draft. The word on the street is he may go number 3. If he doesn't go number 3 to the Giants, then he needs to go number 9 to New Orleans. If he doesn't go number 9 to New Orleans, he's going to probably fall to 21 to the Steelers. If he doesn't go 21 to the Steelers, it's going to be a bad day. A lot of ifs in there. Personally, if I were the Giants and I liked him, I'd take him. What are we wasting time for? Personally, if I were the Colts at 14 and I've got Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson there, I'm hoarding quarterbacks, man. I'm getting as many quarterbacks in with potential as I can to see what shakes out. Why not? He'd be great in Indy. He would. I like him. Hey, this is a good story. Donald Driver, former Green Bay Packers stud, offered his stance on transgender athletes in girls and women's sports. He was talking to Fox Digital about coaching his own children in sports and shared his thoughts on transgender athletes. God made you how he made you. I think at the end of the day, if he made you a male, then you compete in male sports. If he made you a female, you compete in female sports. I think at the end of the day, you can't compete at that level. Girls are sometimes faster than guys. Guys are sometimes faster than girls. Sometimes guys are stronger. Sometimes girls are not. I think at the end of the day, that's how God made you. So you have to kind of sort of compete in the sport that God made you. I agree. So that's where I see fit in that, knowing that I have girls and boys. You have to be very open-minded to the situation, but you also have to understand that you have to be very transparent in the conversation. For me, I think if God made you a certain way, then that's the sport you compete in. Of the 2,128 people polled, 79% said biological males who identify as a woman should not be allowed to participate in women's sports. Of the 1,025 people who identified as Democrats or leaning Democrats, 67% said transgender athletes should not be allowed to compete with women. Among 1,022 Republicans, the number jumped up to 94. I am not surprised by that. Hey, before we go to break, we got to have a little Jasmine here. Little Jasmine Crockett. She's been on an impressive run of stupidity in sound bites. She went on CNN alleging 80% of the worst crimes in America are committed by white supremacists. What? Word I get is 51% of all murders are basically done by 6% of the population. I'll let you figure out who that is. I could be wrong. Maybe Jasmine's right. Here's Jasmine.
Is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman, to interrupt you, but President Trump, of course, has denied any allegations to the white supremacists, and that's why he apparently fired what he. I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beatty in reaction, they believe, in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion in any way?
No, it doesn't change my opinion, because we saw what he literally recently just posted, and the coddling is for the white boys. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears.
Well, these aren't tears. These are facts. Offender race, 42% black or African American. Offender race, 29% white. Offender race, 15% unknown. Victim race, 55% black or African American, 40% white, and 2% unknown. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, it's black on black crime is a real problem. Real problem. Nobody wants to address it. Certainly a white guy like me shouldn't even talk about it, but why not? I'm part of this country. You know, I get it. Show me where Donald Trump has supported white supremacy, and don't tell me Virginia. Look at the whole quote. I mean, obviously it's stupid. Now, this woman also calls Elon Musk a man who's actually flying to Mars an idiot.